Hi everyone, welcome back to Design for More, and I am ready. I have channeled the manifesting generator energy this morning through movement and dance and breath work, and so my sacral, my motor is lit up and ready. And I want to start by saying that if you haven't listened to the generator episode yet, please start there first, because it lays the foundation for everything we're diving into today. And then come back here when you're ready to move at your natural manifesting generator speed and change your mind as many times as you need to, because that's your magic manifesting generator. You have a sustainable engine and an initiating spark. So of course this is going to feel different for you. Of course the strategy of waiting to respond doesn't feel like it would, maybe more slow and linear for a generator. You are your own energy type. I shared in previous episode that one of my biggest kind of pet peeves in the way that human design can be transmitted is how some people can take a very narrow view of the strategy for projectors, the strategy of waiting for an invitation, which I find to be quite disempowering. But maybe my second biggest pet peeve is telling manifesting generators that they're a mix, that they're kind of like some breed of generators and manifestors. But I don't see it that way at all. You are your own divine energy type, and so you need your own episode on your strategy. Of course, waiting to respond doesn't feel the same for you. You're not built to wait around. You're built to dance with what shows up fast. And here's what I want to kick off with right away. Responding doesn't mean hesitating. For manifesting generators, responding usually happens in motion. It's like your body gets the spark mid-stride and suddenly you're halfway through the idea before your mind can even name it. And that's not wrong. That's actually how your design experiments. You learn through doing, through testing, through realizing midway, this part lights me up and that part doesn't, and then pivoting. Manifesting generators are meant to move quickly, to break what doesn't work and rebuild faster. And if you have a 3 in your profile, that energy is going to be even more emphasized. So let's bust another myth right here. You're supposed to wait to respond before you act. Well, for manifesting generators, yes and no. The response still matters. The timing still matters. But for MGs, response often happens as you're already moving, as you're in motion. You might respond to the conversation you just had, to an idea that dropped while you were washing dishes, or to like an urge that bubbled up mid-walk. You don't need to sit in meditation until something to respond to or a spark lands. You just need to stay connected to your body enough to notice the pull before you leap all the way in. Yes, your sacral still rules. Even if you can move faster than anyone, the fuel still comes from the same place. Your sacral tells you what's sustainable. So your spark can only ignite what your gut already has the energy for. When those two things are talking, life feels electric and efficient. But when they're not, you end up in burnout or cleanup mode. Think of your design like a hybrid car. You have both a steady motor, one that can go on forever when it's fueled by a real, authentic yes. And you have the ignition spark, the part of you that wants to start things, to move, to initiate. And when both play together, you can cover an insane amount of ground. You can literally create time. But if the spark takes over before the motor's engaged, well, you're going to stall out. So the practice for manifesting generators isn't about slowing down. It's about checking in mid-motion, asking, wait, am I still a yes for this? I hear manifesting generators say all the time, I start things and I never finish them. I'm so inconsistent. And I always say back, no, maybe what if you're not inconsistent? What if you're iterative? You are here to sample life, to try things, to feel what's real, and then based on the information to pivot fast. So sometimes that means leaving projects half done because they serve their purpose. They showed you the next breadcrumb. When you stop judging that as failure, you can start using it as calibration. Completion is not always the end goal for you. Now let's give some examples to make that more real. For example, you get excited about starting a podcast. You buy the mic, you record 3 episodes, you edit the first one, and halfway through you realize, no, I don't want to start a podcast. I just want to have conversations. So you ditch the weekly upload plan and instead you start a monthly live chat instead. That would be a classic MG move. And it's perfect because you followed the initial yes and then in motion discovered the real one underneath, and that changed course. Or maybe you're in a business and suddenly you want to launch a new offer. The part of you that's, your steady sacral hum feels let up. And so then your spark, your initiating spark says, okay, let's announce it right now. But then halfway through the sales page, your energy flatlines. That doesn't mean it's not accurate or that you're flaky. It just means you responded prematurely and your sacral gave you an update. No, not this version. So when you honor that update, you conserve energy for what's truly aligned. The MG life will be full of redos. You move fast, so of course you're going to skip steps. And sometimes, you'll need to go back. The trick is, don't make going back mean anything. Going back is wisdom, catching up to your speed. There's also this delicious dual theme that MGs live with: frustration and anger. Now, why did I call that delicious? It's because it signals to bring you back into alignment. Frustration is the signal that part of you, that your sacral, isn't satisfied. And anger is the part of you that feels controlled. If you're feeling one or both, check what's happening. Are you pushing something that's lost its spark? That would be the frustration. Or is someone telling you how or when to move? That might be the anger. Both are invitations to realign, not to tell stories or shame yourself. But speaking of stories, let me give you one. Here's a little story from one of my manifesting generator clients, with permission. She's a designer who kept rebuilding her website every few months. And every time she changed direction, she'd roll her eyes at herself, telling herself that she couldn't stay consistent. But when we looked closer, we saw that each rebuild came right after a new creative download. Her sacral was responding to a new expression of herself every time. It wasn't that the energy was inconsistent, it's that it's alive. So once she stopped fighting that rhythm, her business really began to grow because she was letting her speed work for her and not against her. Okay, let's ground this now in the day-to-day. How does responding actually look for an MG? Let's stop conceptualizing it and start grounding it. For example, maybe you're scrolling and an idea hits. Pause for 2 seconds and feel, does my body light up? Or is this more of a mental high? Or maybe you get a DM asking if you want to collaborate. Pause and notice, do you feel expansion or resistance? Or maybe you're mid-project and a totally new direction drops in. Ask yourself, do I still have energy for the old one? Or is this where my energy wants to move through me? You don't need to overthink it. Just check in mid-motion. Sometimes that chicken will sound like, I don't want to finish this. Okay, then don't. See what happens when you follow the spark instead of the guilt. 9 times out of 10, the next step appears faster than if you forced it. So let's keep moving. We've talked about what response looks like for you as an MG. Fast, fluid, alive. Now I want to talk about something that manifesting generators rarely give themselves. Permission to pause inside the motion. And I know, you hear pause and your body already wants to roll its eyes, but please stay with me. A pause for a manifesting generator isn't a stop sign. It's more like a micro recalibration. Half a breath, half a second. It might look like taking one inhale before you send that message. One body check before you say yes to the thing. One moment to feel, do I actually want to keep going here? That's it. You don't have to slow your life down to generator speed. You just need those micro pauses so your sacral can catch up with your spark. Because your creativity moves so fast that sometimes your body is still mid-download while your mind's already halfway through the execution plan. So that pause lets you sync them back up. You are a natural multitasker, And let's be real. You probably have 15 tabs open right now. This podcast is maybe playing while you're cooking or walking and answering DMs. You probably have several books on your nightstand, and that's fine. That's your flow. But the experiment here is to notice which things you're actually lit up by. What if you multitasked less out of habit and more out of alignment? You'll know the difference because when it's aligned, the energy builds. You feel alive, efficient. You have the ability to kind of like time bend. And when the energy is not aligned, you'll start feeling messy or scattered, and that's your signal to regroup, not to push harder. Here's a little mantra I love for MGs. Respond first, refine later. You are meant to start messy, to respond to the impulse, try it out, and then course correct once you know what's real. Your magic lives in that iteration, and the world needs that. We don't move forward because of people who wait until something's perfect. We move because of people like you who try, adjust, and build faster than the rest of us can even process. We need you and your messy speed. Let's talk about the flip side for a second. That moment when you realize something's no longer for you. You've said yes, you've started, and now you feel that heavy, ugh. For most MGs, that moment is followed by guilt. Maybe especially if you have a 5 in your profile. A projection coming at you. The feeling like you committed and you should finish. Nope, not necessarily. Finishing something just because you started it doesn't make you reliable. It makes you resentful. And that resentment leaks into your energy and people feel it. But when you give yourself permission to pivot cleanly, you not only free your energy, you free everyone else's too. Let's name again frustration and anger. They're breadcrumbs. Frustration says, I'm forcing something that's lost its spark. And anger says, something or someone is trying to control my flow. Both are cues, niggles, nudges to step back into alignment, to ask yourself where the yes is now. You are walking permission slip for the rest of us to stop forcing. When your energy is clean, it's contagious. And our role is to support you when you decide to pivot. But let's move this now from concept to body. If you can, I invite you to stand up for a moment. If you're not driving, so only if it's safe. And maybe shake out your hands, roll your shoulders, take a deep breath in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Feel your feet on the ground. Your belly soften. And now think of something in your life that feels just kind of meh. Not terrible, just heavy, maybe kind of like obligatory. And notice where that sits in your body. Now imagine simply letting that go. Not finishing it, not explaining it, just simply releasing it. Feel the space that opens when you do. Maybe it feels like a little rush of freedom. That's your energy coming back online. Now think of something that you're curious about. Maybe it's something random, maybe a spark that popped up this week. And notice the warmth that comes with it. Maybe it's a smile, a tingle, a lift in your chest. That is your yes. That's your sacral saying, this is alive. This is what waiting to respond actually means for me. It's not waiting to move. It's waiting until you have the energy before you move. Because here's the thing, MG. You're not designed to be patient in the way that the world defines patience. You're designed to trust your timing, and that's a big difference. Your timing is divine chaos. It's you following a spark that leads to something you couldn't have mapped out if you tried. And along the way, you're showing the rest of us how evolution actually works. It's fast, it's messy, and it's gloriously alive. So as we close, here's something I'd love for you to remember. You don't need to master consistency. You're here to master response. And you don't need to slow down. You're here to stay connected while you move. And finally, you don't need to finish everything you start. You're here to finish the things that just still feel alive. Because your energy is sacred and your speed is holy. Every time you follow the spark instead of the should, you build a life that's not only efficient, but it's ecstatic, and we all feel it. If you liked this episode, or maybe even loved it, and want to reveal more of your human design, if you want to experiment more with your MG energy type, your strategy, learn about your authority, or any aspect of yourself, whether that's through conscious awareness and or integration, I would love to support you, to hold you in that. You can check out the offerings that I have at juliebydesign.com. And I want to share that Design for More is becoming more than just a podcast. Eek! It's also becoming a signature container, a 12-week journey to live your human design in real life. So if you're ready to stop forcing and start following your flow, you can join the wait list. I'll include the link in the show notes. I invite you to take one last breath with me. In. Filling up, filling up, filling up, and out. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do what's alive. Respond first, refine later. Thanks for being here, and see you next time.